what types of solar panels, because to me, I'm not a solar expert, so they all start looking the same. When we go to a
Okay.
house and we're trying to sell it, is there certain brands to watch out for? Are there certain solar panel types? Are there different dimensions? If you can give us a little bit of that aspect.
Yep.
Um, what do you recommend and what do you see for the Florida area?
As far as a system goes, I personally recommend Enphase.
Enphase. Okay.
Enphase is amazing. They have top line technology. They're always connected to every single one of their systems. They get instant alerts. If there's anything wrong, you can access the system. Let's say there is an issue with a system that I installed a year ago,
Mhm.
and one of the panels may not be producing properly. I can look at that from my house, even if that system is 150 miles away.
Oh,
I
wow.
can still access that system as a business owner and look into and see, okay, what's going on. If the homeowner's not aware, I can also call the homeowner at that point and let them know, hey, I've noticed that there's a certain issue with your system. As the people who installed it, I'd like to come out and see what's going on. When's a good time?
Wow. I didn't know that existed. Can the homeowner also preview or see like a diagnostic of what's going on with their system?
Absolutely. They can see a detailed layout of the panels on their roofs and the optimizers or the microinverters on their roof as well. But
That
not only can you see all of that, Enphase has just upgraded their system as their security features to protect homeowners even further. So, with that being said, now any IQ 7 or 7 plus up is going
right.
to require the homeowner's consent to even access the Enphase Envoy to test the system properly.
Wow.
So
And
it's a
sorry to cut you off, but
you're right.
um, it's just a question that popped in my head. Enphase, how does that compare to relatively in price and warranties compared to the other brands that are out there?
Um,
Is it a lot more expensive? Is it about the same level? Is just they provide more service to the customer? What are you seeing, or is it astronomical? Is an Enphase system like the cream of the crop, or are they middle tier regarding price? What the homeowner is expecting to pay for an Enphase system?
as in as as in the type of system, Enphase is definitely, in my personal opinion, out of all different systems, is the cream of the crop.
Cream of the
However, their pricing is actually fairly fairly priced. It's actually very competitive.
It is
Uh,
okay, and
Solar
that's
Edge
good
is
to
a
know.
little bit on the less expensive side. However, their monitoring system is good, but Enphase has just found a way to take it to a next level and communicate with an instant.
And do you think an Enphase system is similar in install times to other brands, or does it take longer? Are there more steps? How many steps are there for the average homeowner? Say they call, they want a system, they're selling it, you're the installer. Can you walk me through like the steps? Um, how long does it take to install a traditional system?
All right, so for me and my crew, I
Mhm.
try and do things in an orderly manner. So within that first 30 minutes of getting to the house, in all honesty, it should be just looking at safety precautions, talking to the homeowner, letting
Okay.
them know what's going to go on, if they have any questions, any concerns, any issues with the plan that maybe was miscommunicated. That way, everything starts off on a good foot. The second thing that we're going to end up tackling is once we have all of that situated, I personally have a 3-man crew.
Okay.
So all of us go directly on the roof. The first few things we do are the panel layout. Then we measure to make sure that we're hitting the trusses and that the cantilevers are not too far over where there's more of a wind load on one side than the other and that they're structured properly. Then we're going to put the feet down. In this case, I like to use flash locks because they're a one-step process. All you have to do is drill your hole. You're going to sit the foot directly on top of that hole, whether it's facing up or down. It does the same thing. It is reversible rather than having to buy an extra part.
Hmm. How
And
long
it
does
all,
that take? 2 hours? A day? 2 days?
uh, realistically, the full install on a 10K system should take anywhere between 4.5 hours to 6.5, 7 hours, depending on how many roofs and how many arrays each roof has.
Oh, wow. So basically, a solar system on a traditional home can be installed and up and going in about a day?
Uh, correct. Half a
Wow.
day at least.
Okay. So that's fairly quickly.
Correct.
I thought it was a week-long process, 3-day process. I didn't know that they can put that many panels in one day and have it up and running.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really good.
A reinstall takes actually sometimes a little less. Sometimes a reinstall could take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours
Oh, wow.
to
Okay.
put this. Yep.
Because the systems are, you mentioned something about the trusses. How important is that, or have you seen people not attach it to the trusses?
I have seen it. I am not a big fan of it just because there's no real support, even if you blow out of a truss. And what that means is if you have a hole too close to one side or the other of the truss where there's not enough meat, it will
Okay.
blow out to the side. It is imperative that you get that truss directly in the center or as close to as you can. And the way we find that is we'll take a 20-ounce hammer and we'll just tap lightly around. Some roofs that have different material need a little more of a sturdier knock, but for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, we don't damage the shingles, we don't
Oh,
damage
that's a good point.
any of the material. It's a fairly light knock, and you can hear the difference between the left, right, and then the center stud that sounds sturdy.